time for your weekly dose of pop culture
with Kathy and Kenny. Welcome to the show.
Yeah. Welcome. It is Saturday night. Time for Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture. Hi, I'm your co-host, Kathy, along with my brother,
Kenny.
Okay.
I said Kenny.
Welcome to another Saturday night as Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture. As we do every Saturday night, 8:30 here on YouTube at K-Walk Comedy, as well as on Facebook, the Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture group. And we are here and in it. And this week, talking all things DC universe. And you know what? I had everything queued up for the MCU, but for the DCU, I apologize. I don't have all my wonderful graphics this time around. So we are going to be kind of flying blind, just talking about what's coming up, what's new, and what's out there. And we thank all of you guys for coming along on the ride as we branch out, and we'll be branching out, and some exciting new things will be coming up. I think in the months to come, so look out for that. Can I say that much? Yeah.
Yeah, you can say that much. I would say
we can say that much.
I was saying in like a couple of weeks, we're going to start branching out and doing some things.
We're going to start branching out and doing some things. So hopefully that'll be exciting. And we thank all of you guys for coming along on the ride. Let us know in the comments. For those of you with us live, where you are joining us from. Where in the world are you joining us from? Because we are coming to you from the north and the south. Me from North Carolina, Kenny from South Jersey. So that's the way we roll, which that's clever, right?
Yes.
I mean, technically I'm in the south, you're in the north, but really I'm in the North Carolina, you're in the South Jersey. So
yes. What do you think of the braid, huh? Pretty hot, huh?
It's interesting. It's a look. I like the way it kind of curls on the end.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, well, I got to get redone. So
for the podcast listeners, that's going to be like, we can't see that. We don't care. But just think of a question mark kind of upside down on Kenny's face.
Wow. That's good.
It's like a J hook.
Yeah, it is like a J hook right now. Yeah, I need to put something to weigh it down a little bit. Okay. Anyway, also
put
too
on it or something. I don't know. Anyway, go ahead. Also too.
Wow. Also too, I have the phone line working. So if anybody wants to call in, 856-229-4871. If anybody wants to call in, it's 856-229-4871. I had the phone.
Wait, I don't even have that number. 856-229. I'm sorry.
229.
4871. 4871. Oh, okay. I didn't even know. Okay. Let's see. So call into the shoe. And that number is 856 229 4871. I hear you. All right. There we go. We'll put a call into the show up as we talk all things DCU and what is coming up in the DCU. Last week we talked a little bit about the Marvel movies coming out and series and things that are all things Marvel, and you can catch all those things as long as you have Disney Plus. For the most part, you can catch all those things. The only thing you can't see, I think, is the Spider-Man movies. Is that correct? Because Sony owns them.
Yeah, and they are only shown on
the
Spider-Man movies are shown on
is it Stars?
Stars
or
Stars?
Stars. So Stars, because I know I've seen it on Stars. And for some reason, all the Spider-Man movies, well, not some reason, I think there is a reasoning behind it, but all the Spider-Man movies have home in the title.
The newer ones. The new ones.
The newer ones, the new iteration.
Yes. The Marvel.
Again, the last one
Sony
is probably
Marvel.
the favorite because it brought back all 3 Spider-Men, so
Yes.
that was that was exciting and
That was
fun.
nice. That was a nice. That was
I
nice.
am thoroughly parched, so I'll let you talk a little bit about what's coming up on the DCU, or
Okay, so
as it
on
were.
the on the DCU, we're going to talk about the DC. Now, as some of you might know, recently, okay, let's be honest. DC movies have sucked up until now. There've been one or two standouts, one or two things that were good about it, but up until now, the DC movies have not been that great. Have not been that. There are people who were. Sorry about that. There are people who were not even going to see the DC movies because they've been so sucky. So
Now,
now,
when you talk about, can you be more specific? Like, what movies are we saying really
okay, well,
kind of
it's
sent
like
the DCU ship?
Wonder Woman 84,
Well, yeah, Wonder Woman 84 was pretty bad, and
Batman versus Superman,
the thing about that
um,
movie too is I wanted to like it so
Superman
much,
Returns, um, The
uh,
Man of
w
Steel, just the
but I thought
first
The Man of
Suicide
Steel
Squad.
did well box office wise.
The Man of Steel did well, but to a lot of comic book fans, that movie's that they had Superman
Now,
kill
when you're
somebody
making
at the end.
movies, can you just make it to you can't just make it to appease the comic book fans because you gotta take into consideration, um, all the other fans out there. Like, if you just wanna appeal to the comic book fans, you're only gonna make a certain box office gross. You
True.
have to
Yeah.
give the movie some kind of mass appeal. So the people who don't read comics, like myself, for instance, I'll go see a comic book movie. Um, I'm not necessarily, I think I could probably count on both hands the number of actual comic books I've read, although I have read a couple graphic novels. But if you're making movies, if we just are appealing to the people who are like weekly regular comic book readers, you know, like yourself,
Yeah.
are they gonna make the money they need to kind of recoup what they
Well,
put into those movies?
if you appeal to the fanboys, you don't know how big. Like, if you go to a Comic Con, those things are packed. So if you go by the fanboys, you're gonna make the money there. But if you lose the fanboys, then you're not gonna make your money
Mhm.
because you're gonna get the other audience that just want to see a superhero movie. But you're not like, okay, Black Adam did not make any money.
Well,
Or
was it
did
that
not make money.
streamed only?
No, that was in the theater.
It did have a theatrical release?
It had a
Okay.
theatrical release. Black Adam did not make the money that it was supposed to make, or they projected it to make.
Mhm.
And one reason is because by this point, a lot of the fanboys had given up on DC movies. So
Now,
you
but, I'd have to disagree to a point, only because I think Black Adam was one of those first few movies, kind of one of the first post-pandemic films. So there was kind of this reluctance to go back into theaters, and I think even still it exists out there for a lot of people.
yeah, but a lot
You
of
don't
people
have,
went to go see
I mean,
Wakanda
a lot of
Forever.
people credit Maverick Top Gun with kind of bringing people back into the theater, but even still, I think Black Adam, I don't know whether we could say it was solely based on them, DC losing that fanboy, base,
Yeah.
but also too, I think it might have suffered because of the pandemic, because of the apprehension
See,
about
I beg
coming.
to differ because when I went to the movie theaters, even when I went, George and I would go on Sunday mornings, there was a lot of people in the theater on the days, and a lot of tickets were sold out before, like any movie that came out in 2022, people were going to the movies to see them. So,
Okay,
all the movies that came, all the soup, like, people were rushing to see Thor, even though it wasn't good. People were
right.
rushing. That was last year. So,
Okay,
like, you know, Spider Man and Doctor Strange, when they came out last year, people were rushing to see those, and the theater was packed. Even on Sunday morning, theater was packed for both of those. So, you know, but in any event, the DC universe, Warner Brothers, have decided to give James Gunn and Peter Safran the reins of the DCU.
Okay.
So now the DC universe, the DCU, is now under their tutelage. Now, the thing about it is you're getting James Gunn. James Gunn is known for doing Guardians of the Galaxy, the second Suicide Squad movie that went straight to HBO, which was great, which everybody loved. The two Guardians of the Galaxy, and now he's doing the last one that's coming out, which is greatly anticipated. This is James Gunn's wheelhouse
Mm-hmm.
to do a superhero movie and to be in this universe and to take over this universe. So they have decided to now, and a lot of fanboys and even a lot of people that are not fanboys are very excited that James Gunn is now taking over these DC properties. They're calling Chapter 1 Gods and Monsters.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's Marvel. They're calling Chapter 1 Gods and Monsters.
Okay.
So we have a lot of the movies that were to come out before James and Peter Safran came on to DCU. They're still going to come out. So we're still going to get Shazam 2. We're still going to get Aquaman. And we're still going to get
was
Flash.
Shazam one of the ones that didn't kind of adhere to the comic book, or
Shazam adhered to the comic book. Shazam, people didn't give Shazam a lot of credit. Shazam to me was a great movie. It was well done.
I enjoyed Shazam.
I
didn't see it in the theater, but I did enjoy it.
Yeah, Shazam was great. So we're going to get Aquaman 2, and we're still getting the Flash movie, despite Ezra Miller's legal problems. They're still doing Flashpoint.
And is he still at the helm, or are they looking to replace him?
He's still at the helm, but what they're saying is with Gunn and Safran is saying, I'm getting this man's name wrong, I know I am, but what they're saying is that Flashpoint is going to serve as a soft restart to the DCU.
Okay.
So they're going to use the things in Flashpoint. And a lot of people are not going to see Flashpoint because of Ezra Miller. Some people are not seeing it because of him. I'm going to see it because, for one reason only, you get Michael Keaton back in the Batman costume.
Oh, they're bringing Michael Keaton back as Batman?
Yeah, well, in this, Flashpoint goes to different universes in Flashpoint. And when he's going to go to the Michael Keaton Batman universe. So we're going to get Michael Keaton back as Batman.
Are they going to bring
the same movie? No. Let's not get carried away. I don't think George Clooney would come back as Batman. George Clooney would not come back as Batman for the same reason that Ben Affleck would not come back as Daredevil. Those movies were both horrible. But Ben Affleck is coming back as Batman in Flashpoint.
So does that make Michael Keaton up there with is it Josh Brolin as someone who has appeared in both the MCU and the DCU?
Yes. And also Idris Elba. Idris Elba, because he was in Thor and he was in Suicide Squad. Hey, Steve, he was in Thor and he was in Suicide Squad. So that's cool. Idris Elba. So that's what reset. So now a lot of things they're planning on doing it. They have some titles for the new movies because we're going to get a new Superman. So Steve Cavill is not going to be Superman anymore. And I think they're going to go with a younger Superman at first. Steve Cavill so far is not Superman. I think Gal Gadot is not going to be Wonder Woman anymore.
No, I like her as Wonder Woman. And I know 1984 was a bust.
Yeah.
But I still thought she was an awesome Wonder Woman.
Yeah. As far as Batman, I don't know if they're going to recast Batman because Ben Affleck is going to be in Flashpoint.
Okay.
Along with Michael Keaton.
All right.
So they're both going to be in that movie.
So they're not bringing Christian Bale back, his universe? Or is that going to be the surprise that they're not going to tell you until you see the movie?
I didn't like the Christian Bale universe, really. I really didn't. I like this. I like the only movie I like is the second one with Heath Ledger as a Joker. That was great. But in any event, what's going to happen is the Batman. Okay, so what they're doing so far. So we're still getting Aquaman 2, Shazam 2, and the Flashpoint movies that before these guys came on to take over. We're still getting those movies.
Okay.
They're still doing a Joker 2, a second Joker, and they're still doing a Patterson Batman movie, number 2. Those movies are going to be Elseworld
We'll get
movies.
more Patterson.
Yeah, we're going to get more Patterson, but that's not the
Like it or
Patterson
not.
movie. The Patterson movies are going to be sort of called Elseworlds movies, where they're not going to be in the mainstream DCU.
Okay.
So it might be a little confusing, but they're calling them Elseworld movies, and Elseworlds is the kind of books they used to put out back in the day. To show like what happened on another. Batman was on another universe, like in Elseworld. What if all the superheroes were women, or what if all the superheroes were black, or what if
Can I ask a question? And I know this. V for Vendetta, is that Marvel or is that DC?
I think that's a Warner Brothers property.
Okay. No, but I
But it's
mean
not-
the original.
I'm not sure. I want to look that up because I think it might be a Vertigo thing. It might be a Vertigo, which
Okay.
is a Warner Brothers DC property. So they came up with some for this Gods and Monsters Chapter 1. They came up with some titles of movies that we're going to see. Superman Legacy,
Okay.
which should be out in 2025. The other movies, I'm not sure when they're coming out, but The Brave and the Bold, which is a Batman series, and it's going to be Batman and Robin, kind of Brave and the Bold. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and we're going to see a version of Supergirl in the Flashpoint movie. So I don't know if that's going to be the Supergirl or not. Swamp Thing, The Authority, Creature Commandos is going to be an animated series because some of the things I'm going to tell you are going to be things they're going to put on HBO Max as animated series or series. Paradise Lost is going to be on HBO Max. It's a series about Themyscira, where Wonder Woman comes from, way before Wonder Woman was born. And the Green Lantern series is going to be a series about the Green Lanterns on HBO Max. And there's going to be Waller series, a series about Amanda Waller from the Suicide Squad. Some other things that are coming out. We know about Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and The Flash. Another movie they've been working on that before James Gunn came on to the DCU is a Blue Beetle movie. And a lot of people are excited to that. The guy starting Blue Beetle is the same guy that was in Cobra Kai. The young man that was in Cobra Kai, the Latino young man.
You know what? I had heard about Cobra Kai, but I never watched it. Have you watched
never
it?
watched Cobra Kai's pretty good.
Cobra Kai, okay.
Cobra Kai's pretty good.
I gotta put that on my list. I have a list for you, but I have a list for me too. So
we have a Peacemaker season 2. Peacemaker was a great series. Joker Follow Ado, part 2. Batman 2, which is the Patterson Batman. And a TV show is still that they had planned before James Gunn came on CW, Gotham Knights, which is what if Batman was dead and everybody took over for him. And Superman and Lois.
You mean a world that knew of Batman, but now has to live without Batman.
Yes.
Almost like the world had to live without Superman when he died.
Right. This is a world where Batman dies. Something happens, he dies, and that's pretty much it. And the thing I don't like about this show already reading about it, I'm going to watch it because the CW show is Gotham Knights. The thing I don't like about this show already is that Batman's dead and all these other heroes take over in Gotham City, but none of them are Batgirl, none of them are Robin, and none of them are Nightwing. So I'm already apprehensive about this anyway. So
because you already know it's not going to be true to the comic book.
It's not going to be true to the comics. In normal times, if something happens to Batman, Nightwing usually puts on the Batman costume because Nightwing is Robin grown up, Dick Grayson grown up is Nightwing. He usually puts on the Batman costume and he takes over for Bruce Wayne. Superman and Lois, which is
He's
already on.
Batman's understudy, so that's what Nightwing is.
No, well, Nightwing now is in the comic books. Nightwing is becoming his own character. They're making him a bigger character because they had a big storyline in the comic books where the Justice League died, and they didn't really die. They came back and whatnot, and everything was destroyed around the world and whatnot. And the one hero that rallied all the other heroes together to fight the main bad guys was Nightwing. And everybody turned to Nightwing.
It seems like they kind of teased a Justice League movie at the end of the last what was the last movie where you see where Ben Affleck was still Batman?
Yeah.
And he had they were in that big room and he's and at the big table, you kind of felt like, oh wait, is the Justice League going to happen? Are we going to get a Wonder Twins? And
yeah, well, no,
like we had it that old cartoon, Saturday morning cartoon.
Well, they did do the Justice League movie.
Okay.
There was a Justice League movie.
Right. But yeah. I thought, okay.
You mean like a Super Friends?
Oh wait, was that called Super Friends?
No, that was called Justice League.
The Justice League.
Yeah, Justice League.
But it seemed like there were more people, there was Aquaman. Okay.
All these people was in the Justice League movie.
Okay.
Only person missing is Cyborg.
Okay.
Now,
the Justice League, the Super Friends that we had on the Saturday morning cartoons. I'm talking
Green Lantern and all those guys. Yeah, that's the Justice League also.
Okay.
That's the Justice League.
League. Can we get that movie?
Yeah,
I want to see that movie.
You want to see Justice League with 10,000 heroes all coming together to fight.
Well, I don't need 10,000. I just need the Wonder Twins. I need the little rings. I need them to click fists and be like.
Yeah, I don't think you'll ever see the Wonder. You know what? At one point, there was a rumor that they were trying to do the Wonder Twins on TV, and didn't pan out. They didn't do it. I don't know if you'll ever see the Wonder Twins.
I think we need Wonder Twins, even if we
Wonder Twins were good for Saturday morning cartoon, and Wonder Twins did not make a hit in the comic books at all.
Oh, they didn't?
No, they're in the comic books. And there's different variations of Wonder Twins in the comic books. But yeah, the Wonder Twins did not hit in the books at all. They even had their own miniseries, I think, at one point, not too long ago, a year ago, so 2 years ago. And I don't think anybody bought it.
So wait, if you have it, it could be a collector's item. Oh, that's a shame. I think
no, it wouldn't be a collector's
item. That's the main thing I remember from the Justice League Saturday morning show. I couldn't tell you what hero they fought. I couldn't tell you what they did, but I knew when they clashed those fists together, Wonder Twin powers activate. You knew something good was going to happen. I'm just saying.
I had a joke because before the Wonder Twins, there was Wendy, Marvin, and Wonder Dog. They were the first kids that, they got replaced by the Wonder Twins, but it was Wendy, Marvin, and Wonder Dog, right? And I would walk outside, or if somebody asked me if it's windy outside, and somebody says, "Oh, what's it like outside?" I'll go, "Wendy, Marvin, and Wonder Dog," and nobody gets that joke.
I don't really get that joke. I don't remember Wendy, Marvin, and Wonder Dog.
You don't remember Wendy, Marvin, and Wonder Dog?
No.
When Super Friends first came on, it was Wendy, Marvin. It was they said all the heroes and Wendy, Marvin, and Wonder Dog, the Junior Justice League, the Junior Super Friends.
Okay.
And they were just regular kids, and Marvin would be this kid, this teenage kid that walk around with this green cape all the time. And Wonder Dog had a cape on, green cape on him too.
That is a
and
very
Wendy was just a regular girl. And Wendy was a smart one. Wendy was just a regular girl who would figure stuff out. And it'd be
she was like the Thelma.
Wendy was a Thelma. And Wonder Dog and that's
Scooby-Doo Thelma, not the Good Times Thelma. Just to
Yeah,
be
not the
clear.
Good Times Thelma, the Scooby Doo Thelma, and Marvin and Wonder Dog, kind of like Scooby and Shaggy.
Scooby and Shaggy.
Wendy, Marvin, and Wonder. I don't believe you don't remember. How do you remember
Yeah, it sounds familiar, but it's
Wendy,
not.
Marvin,
I
and Wonder
can't.
Dog?
It's not popping in my head. It does sound
All the
familiar. I have to
Junior
give you
Super
that.
Friends, Wendy, Marvin, and Wonder Dog.
Wendy, Marvin, and Wonder Dog. Okay.
Yes,
Hey.
Wendy, Marvin.
Now, were
Wow.
they in the comics?
Yeah, they were in the Super Friends comics that was outside of the real like mainstream Justice League, but yeah.
All right.
They had,
Okay.
see, back in those days, they had the kiddie comics. They had the regular comics for teenagers and adults to
Hardcore.
read. Yeah, and then they had the kiddie comics for like young kids to read. That was like pretty kind of like Archie, but it was like the Super Friends in there, and it was like you had Wendy, Marvin, and Wonder Dog. And I used to, yeah, there they are, Wendy, Marvin, and Wonder Dog. She's got the
The
little
Wonder Dog looks like Scooby Doo.
yeah, see, and
He
and and
kind of
that's
looks like Scooby Doo. Here, let me move that out the way so you can
yeah,
see
see,
him.
that's Wendy, Marvin, and Wonder Dog.
Now, now that I see them, it's like, okay,
Yeah,
it's coming back to me.
Wendy, Marvin, and Wonder Dog.
So, how's the weather out there? It's
Wendy,
windy.
Marvin, and Wonder Dog.
Marvin and Underdog.
There you go. Wendy, Marvin, and
There
Wonder
you
Dog.
go. All right. It's all the magical phrases. For those of you just joining us, we're Kathy and Kenny.
Ask me one more time. How's the weather out there?
How's the weather out there?
Wendy, Marvin, and Wonder Dog.
I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it. It didn't come through.
You didn't hear it? Yeah,
Nope.
I hit the laugh button.
Settings.
It's not.
Check your settings. Did you hear mine? Okay. Anyway,
Dad, I don't believe you can hear me.
yeah, I couldn't hear it. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening.
No.
Wendy Marvin and Underdog.
But
All right,
event,
so back to the DCU. This is Kathy and Ken Explain Pop Culture. We're talking DCU and what's coming in the next phase of movies. And according to Kenny, the fanboys should be excited, should be pumped because it looks as though we are getting some more true to comic book or true to canon material coming up in the new movies and shows because of Peter, is it Saffron, and also
yep,
James
James Gunn.
Gunn taking the helm on what's coming up in the DC verse. Now we are getting more Aquaman, you said.
Yes, we're gonna get Aquaman 2.
Are we still getting Jason Momoa, or are they going to be
Yes.
replacing?
We're getting Jason Momoa as Aquaman 2 because they already filmed Aquaman 2.
Okay,
The only thing they filmed that they won't release is the Batgirl. They filmed a whole Batgirl movie, but I guess they're getting the insurance for it, so they won't release that.
Now, is that going to be Zoe Saldana, or we won't know? It will never get released.
No, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be not Zoe Saldana. It would be Zoe Kravitz. It
Oh,
wouldn't.
Zoe Kravitz. I'm sorry,
No,
Zoe.
Zoe Kravitz is Catwoman. That's
Oh,
Catwoman.
wait. Catwoman.
Yeah, she was Catwoman in the Patterson universe of Batman.
Okay.
The Batgirl, I forget the actress who played her.
That's right, Batgirl.
Yeah, the Batgirl movie was trashed, and it could never be shown.
Now, when you say it can never be shown, that means they won't stream it or anything. Surely there's got to be a bootleg that gets out. Come on.
No. It starred Leslie Grace as Batgirl and J.K. Simmons as Commissioner Gordon.
Oh, cool. Oh, and that would have made him another DC MC crossover.
Yeah, and Brandon Fraser was actually in it also.
Oh, okay.
And Michael Keaton was in it, I guess, as Batman. So, or Bruce Wayne or whatever. So that movie, they canceled it,
I'm gonna be a little bit obsessed with the whole DC MCU crossover. But go ahead.
Yeah, but in August of 2022, Warner Brothers Discovery announced that it would no longer plan to release Batgirl on HBO Max or theatrically, despite a previously scheduled 22 release on HBO Max. So they felt that the film simply did not work and went against the new desire and mandate from CEO David Zaslav. And, a lot of people, when they canceled the film, they got insurance from it. So people are thinking that they canceled it for the insurance. That's the scuttlebutt. That's the rumor of it. But they're saying that the movie just didn't fit into what they wanted to do.
Okay.
So that movie
wow.
didn't
The
make
list
that
is
background
longer
movie
than
didn't
I
make it.
thought.
Huh?
There's actually 21 different actors who've appeared in both MCU and DCU. But
Yeah.
some of them, huh?
No, yes.
Okay, I didn't realize it was that many.
I
But
can't name them all by name, but I know I just have
yeah, Nathan Fillion, he was in Guardians of the Galaxy and
that's
Suicide
right. Yeah, he
Squad.
was. Yeah.
Well, we already mentioned Michael Keaton. I'm just naming some of the better, more well-known. There's an actor named Sean Gunn that people probably would know him from the Gilmore Girls if you were a fan of that show, but he was in Guardians of the Galaxy and Suicide Squad, and he's also, I think, James Gunn's brother or cousin or
Yeah.
some relative. So,
Nepotism going
wait,
on in
Lawrence Fishburne. I didn't know that. That's okay.
Lawrence Fishburne?
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
in.
because he was Perry White in Superman, and he
Okay.
was in Ant-Man.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. Yeah.
He played
Who
Bill
knew?
Foster in Ant-Man.
Oh, okay. Michael Rooker too. Yeah, because he was in Guardians of the Galaxy and he was in Suicide Squad. So there's
Yep.
quite a few. I'm surprised.
Quite a
Oh,
few.
Desmond Hunsu. Oh, I didn't realize he was in Shazam, or he's going to be in Shazam.
He was in the
He was
first
a
Shazam.
wizard in
He played the
Shazam,
wizard in the first Shazam and the second
and then he
Shazam.
was in Guardians of the Galaxy.
He was
Oh,
in
okay.
Guardians,
There's
yes.
more actors than I thought. I'm
Yeah, it's a
surprised.
lot of
Okay.
actors.
All right. It's good to know. Good to know. Randall
And
Park.
I think the rumor is that Marvel is now looking at Henry Cavill to play a role.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that would be
Hey,
nice.
jumping franchises.
That'd
All
be
right.
And then I guess
So
eventually fans are going to want to see Warner Brothers and the MCU do a movie with crossover superheroes.
oh, that would be awesome, I think, to
That would be
see,
very
like,
awesome.
just to see the mix, to see, a Justice League and Avengers kinda like, I'm
I
sure
would like.
they
Well,
they've
you would have
done
to get Steve Rogers, Captain America, back with the Super Soldier serum.
okay.
I would like to see Batman fight Captain America and win. That's all I need. That's all I need. Save the
Why
argument.
would you put Batman against Captain America?
Because that Batman in the comic books a few times beats up Captain America. Batman wins over Captain America because he's
And
Batman.
Batman wins.
He's Batman. He can beat everybody.
I'm Batman.
He's Batman.
So, all right. Stuff to look forward to when those two collide, when those two worlds go
Yeah,
at it. That should be
when they go at it
interesting.
and everything. But like right now, the Flash, the CW Flash show is on its last season. So
Now,
now,
would they bring that actor on to do the movies, perhaps?
you know what? A lot of the fanboys are calling for Grant Gustin to take over as the Flash over Ezra Miller. And I think a year or so ago, maybe it was 2 years ago, they did a whole crisis crossover thing. Every year on the CW, with all the difficult, they used to have a lot more DC superhero shows on CW. They used to do
they
this
had
big thing called,
Supergirl and
yeah. And they had Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl, Black Lightning, Flash, Green Arrow, and everything. And they used to do this big thing called a crisis, because in comic books every year the Justice League would do a crisis over with the Justice Society and everything that. So in the CW universe, they would do a crisis where all the different stories would cross over and everything and do a big crisis. The last crisis, the Flash had to go through different dimensions. And when he did that, Ezra Miller made a cameo on the CW.
Okay.
And they were both like standing face to face with each other, like, wait a minute, I'm the Flash. No, I'm the Flash. Who are you? Who are you? And they did a whole comedy thing. And then Ezra Miller's part was quick, and then they got him out. And I think the rumor is in this one, Ezra Miller is supposed to go through different dimensions. That's how he gets to the world. That's how he goes from the world where Ben Affleck is Batman to the world where Michael Keaton is Batman. I think they said at one point, I think it's speculated that Grant Gustin might show up in the Flashpoint movie. That's what a lot of people are hoping for, that he shows up in that movie. And there's been a lot of call for like, hey, replace Ezra Miller with Grant Gustin. Grant Gustin's not kidnapping people. He's not breaking any laws. He's not acting crazy.
He's not causing any extra drama.
He's not causing any extra drama.
Hey.
And you know,
I'm sorry, I had a technical difficulty. I was like, oh wait, my tripod that my camera was on was kind of doing something wonky. So that's why I phased out for a minute. My superhero power is to fix camera gear live on camera. Thank you.
So yeah, so and so the whole thing with Ezra Miller though is kind of disturbing that they would keep him on, you know. And for me, I'm going to see the movie. And it's kind of disturbing for me because Ray Fisher had a hard time, and he spoke up about his hard time, and they totally X'd him out. Ezra Miller breaks a whole bunch of laws, and he's still able to do his role. So I'm a little annoyed
now,
about it.
Why would that be? One of these things.
What would that be? What would that be for? You know?
No, and you know what? And I hear you with that, but also too, I also think, because that's disingenuous for them to, again, cast one actor out for being vocal about things, and then to have another actor who, is obviously having some problems. I don't say, let's cast him out or lose his job because of it, but get him some help, for goodness sake.
Yeah, I think that's what they did. I think that's what, because if you notice, he's been out of the news for a good while. And one of the things is they did tell him, like, look, you're gonna have to get some help and do this. And we got money on this movie, and we got things banking on this movie. I think what they're going to do, though, I think they said this is like a soft reset. I think after the Flashpoint movie, we might come up with a new Flash. I think there might be a new Flash, and they're not telling us everything they're going to do. I think there might be a new Flash.
But again, and I think there is something to that whole idea of like, blackballing or blacklisting people who speak up or speak, I mean, hey, call Monique, because, it doesn't seem fair that when you do express, some discontent or that you can be so easily, like blacklisted or what's the word?
Monique was probably blacklisted, and I don't think
why they gotta be blacklisting all the black folks. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. I don't think Monique should be blacklisted, but I don't think she was totally right about what she was saying. But she should have been blacklisted, though. I didn't agree with her, but I don't think she should be blacklisted. I know she got blacklisted. I don't agree with Monique, but I don't think she should be blacklisted.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, because I mean, she was comparing herself. She was comparing herself to people who are way bigger draws than she is. Like, you can't compare a Monique to like a Dave Chappelle. You can't. I'm sorry. I don't want to hurt your feelings, but you can't. And she was comparing herself to people like that, and I'm like, yeah, you're funny, but you're not Dave Chappelle funny. Like Like Dave Chappelle, he's the guy that had a show on for years that people, it wasn't even on that long, and people consider it legendary. Like you haven't made anything like that yet. Yeah,
Right.
you've sold the
The
tickets
show
and you've
was
done X, Y,
quotable.
and Z.
You could
But
definitely quote the Dave Chappelle show.
yeah, like you're good and you've been in the industry for a long time and you've done certain things and nothing but respect. But and I understand. Look, if you're not going to take what they want to give you, just say, you know what, I don't want that. I'm going to go
Do
somewhere
so.
else.
Or either start my own production company and produce the kind of material
Yeah,
that I want to be in and that I want to be known for. But we're going off on a tangent.
yeah, we're
But
going to with
anyway,
that. Yeah,
back to the DCU. I know it wouldn't be Cafe and Ken Explain Pop Culture unless we didn't take these pop culture offshoots and dives and
yeah, and then just go
all
somewhere
over
else
the
with
place.
pop culture.
Just
Speaking of
kinda
pop, speaking of wait, before we going back to DCO, speaking of
Mhm.
comedians, did you see the Chris Rock special?
I did. I actually watched. I didn't catch it all live. I actually watched the last 15 minutes, which I guess was probably the most controversial part.
Yeah,
Um here here's the thing. Now and again, I have tremendous respect for Chris Rock as a comedian and for what he does. And he did a special and I forgot the name of the special, but it was so I don't know, and I think he was either working with or I'm not gonna say Nelson George wrote the special for him, but I think, he was in communication with him because it had like a political edge to it, but yet it was funny. And again, the language was there and everything else. Whereas with this special, the language was in there, but I don't know, there just seemed to be a piece missing. There seemed to be, um and I know the selective outrage was supposed to be the connective tissue, to the things he talked about and he dealt with. And I totally got his point, with the whole Will Smith, slap. But I don't know, I felt like there was a piece missing. I thought his kinda mic drop at the end was good, but because he had stumbled early on in that bit, and I think he it's one of those things as a comedian, and when you mess up a punchline or stumble over a word, you don't catch the rhythm. And I think in that ending, he stumbled over a word or mentioned concussion before he did the joke in the right way, and it threw him off. And I could tell that from the very end.
I remember
But
that part that did throw him off. However, I
mhm,
think the final part of that, once he got past that, and
mhm,
the whole thing he said before the mic drop, to
right.
me, that was worth the whole special.
Well, yeah, because I went back and watched, like, all of the special because I realized when it was on, I was like, "Oh, wait. Oh, I wanted to catch this live because it was on Netflix Live." And I only saw, like, the end part, which I guess was the money part, was the part everybody paid for anyway, to hear him comment on that situation. And as far as the rumor that, Will Smith has been wanting to reach out to him to mend that fence, I'm like, "Oh, homeboy done burned the fence. There's not
Yeah,
gonna be a fence
the fence is
mended.
burnt up, man.
The fence is burned to the ground. That
Well,
relationship is
well,
toast."
well. I know you're not
And
watching our show, but let it go.
yeah, yeah, you ain't mending that fence because, yeah,
You didn't did
he,
it, but the
yeah,
man said
it's the Black
the
Earth
man
now.
the man said he watches Emancipation just to see Will get whipped. I
Yeah,
look, Will.
that was
You know how everybody in America likes you? There's one brother that's never gonna like you ever.
no, yeah, he is not going to be one of your biggest fans, and he will not buy you a coffee. But you know
He will
what? If you
he
are
will not
enjoying our
be
show, do know that you could buy us a coffee. There's a link in the description, uh, to support Kathy and Kenny, explain pop culture by buying us a coffee, and all that goes and helps us keep doing the show and keep popping up different little things like this. Like, you can actually call the show at 856-229-4871. 856-229-4871 if you want to be a part of the show and let us know your thoughts on some of the new shows coming up on the DCU, or what you thought of the Chris Rock Selective Outrage special, because the Oscars are actually coming up tomorrow, and this would have been our Oscar show, but because we weren't on last week, we were talking. We were supposed to talk DCU last week, so we're talking it this week.
I tell
So
you
I
what,
don't know
though,
if you want to do an Oscars recap, but I don't think it's going to be as much fun because nobody's going to get slapped.
yeah, you know.
I mean,
I
they're
think
changing the red carpet. They're making the red carpet white for some reason. I'm like, hashtag Oscars so white anyway.
yeah,
Why
like
would you do that?
well, no, not totally white, because one of the most nominated movies
Mhm.
is Head Off. You know, everything everywhere all at once. I
Oh,
just saw that. And it's one of the most nominated movies. I didn't see it in the theater, and George bought the video and
mhm.
he bought the Blu-ray, and I was just watching that movie this afternoon. Only 8 people did the special effects on this movie. Usually, when you see these Marvel movies, you have it's a whole country of people that did the special effects.
Right,
In this
right.
movie, only 8 people did the special effects. Let me tell you something. This movie, I want this movie to get. I seen it today, and I want it to get every single award that it can get, except for Best Supporting Actress, because I want Angela Bassett to get that for Wakanda. Because Angela Bassett, I loved Wakanda Forever,
And
but
I
Angela
didn't see
Bassett carried
Wakanda
that movie.
Forever, and I think that's on Disney Plus. But
Yeah,
and maybe somebody can help me out in the comments, because when I try to access my Disney Plus, it's telling me that I might need a different my HDMI cord or something. It it won't let me stream any movies on my Disney Plus service. So I'm having this Disney Plus problem, and I'm probably gonna have to call them. But yeah, I haven't seen Wakanda Forever, so I can't say. Now,
yeah,
I did see
Wakanda
The
Forever
Woman
is
King,
worth the
which
watch. A lot of
did you
people
see
didn't
The
like it,
Woman King?
huh?
Did
I
you
have
see The
not seen
Woman?
Woman King, but it's on
It was
HBO.
excellent, and I don't even think I don't think Viola Davis got a nomination, and
I I
she was
think I
killing
think
that
I think
movie.
she did. She might have, but I think the competition was so fierce right now
Mhm,
that because I think a couple of actresses Jamie Lee Curtis and everything, everywhere all at once was, and like every actress, everyone who acted, everyone who performed, and everything all at once. To
mhm.
me, wow, they were all great. The acting was top notch. The special effects was top notch. The plot, the script, the way it was, it kind of lulled at the end a little bit for me,
Mhm.
but I could see it at the big picture of it. And you would have to watch this movie. You would have to put yourself. You have to have an open mind, because some people compare it to the Matrix, but if you took the Matrix and took it one step further in your imagination, everything all at once, everything everywhere all at once.
Everything Everywhere All at Once. Now I'm like, I wanna see it.
Yeah. Oh
Unfortunately, you
yeah.
can't stream it anywhere.
It's definitely worth the watch. Don't watch it when you're tired, because it's very long. But like the beginning kind of drags, the ending kind of drags, but the middle, and when things are like when the action starts to happen and things start to really happen, you get kind of you look at first, you're like, wait a minute, what? It's kind of like the Matrix. Because when we first saw the Matrix, we were like, wait a minute, what? Huh?
Right,
And
right.
then once you realize what was really going on, you're like, oh, oh, oh,
Oh, I
oh,
see,
that's
said the
what it
blind
is.
man.
Yeah. So it does remind you of the Matrix a little bit, but
Mm,
it's a well done movie all around.
okay, I gotta check that
In the
out then.
plot, would you just watch the movie? It kind of twist. It kind of twist into something that it's just. I'm telling you, everything, everywhere, all at once. And I remember when it first came out in the theater, because George and his wife went to go see it. George and Jess went to go see it, and
Mhm.
and this is before Faye was born. And I stayed with Milo that night to watch Milo while they watched them. I said, "What movie we gonna see?" Oh, Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'm like, never heard of it because it's such a low key movie that
Right,
people never
right.
heard of, and now like it's getting all these awards. So I definitely suggest it. Now, next week,
I might have to see I might have to red box it then.
yeah.
'Cause
Let's
if it's available in DVD, I'm sure I can get it on Redbox.
Now next Sunday morning, I'm gonna go see that Shazam 2. I gotta get my ticket. I'm gonna go see that Shazam 2.
Okay.
Because that's that's the next movie I need to see, and that comes and I gotta see it by myself because George will not see that with me. He will not waste time on a DC movie until James Gunn takes over.
Okay, so he's gotta wait till James Gunn gets in
He's
there
waiting till
before he
James. He's
goes
like,
to
I
see
am
it.
not wasting another dime on a DC movie until James Gunn takes over.
Until James Gunn comes.
Well, I'm waiting. I'm waiting. The next line of movies, he goes,
So
Dad,
does
I don't
that
want.
mean we're gonna get, do you think, Zack Snyder will be back directing any of
No,
those?
no,
No?
I doubt it.
No?
Highly
No
doubt it.
more Snyder cuts?
There's no more Snyder universe. No, I think they want to get away from the Snyder universe.
Oh.
I'd be very surprised if James Gunn got on the phone, called up Zack Snyder, and said, "Look, let's do this. Let's because there's a lot of things from the Snyder universe that people still wanted to see. The Snyder cut was like the Justice League movie that Joss Whedon did was horrible. The Snyder cut of that movie was so much more explained, so much better. Yeah, it was 4 hours long. It was long, but everything was hashed out. And you see why Ray Fisher was hot about this movie because he was cut out of Josh Whedon, totally cut about this movie. And the Snyder cut, Cyborg was a primary character in the Snyder cut for a reason. It was a reason that Cyborg was a primary character, and the movie totally made sense. The Snyder cut.
Oh, you know what? My local, Redbox has a copy of that movie I can buy for, like, $3.99. Is it worth it?
What?
Everything Everywhere All at
Oh,
Once.
yes, it is.
Oh,
It's
okay.
definitely worth it. You can buy it for $3. Get it.
$3.99, $4.
$3.99. And when you're done watching it, ship it to me.
So maybe I'll go buy a copy, and that way
Buy
I
buy
have
buy
it
the
and I
buy
can
the
watch it.
copy. And when our parents come up here in May, you put that in there with them. I'll hold on to
Alright.
that for you. Because once you watch, you ain't gonna watch it again.
Well, I gotta figure out what to do with all my DVD. I still got VHS tapes. I'm probably gonna have to throw them out. I have nothing to do with them.
There ain't
I'm
nothing you
like
can do with them. Nothing you can do with them.
I have the whole X-Files series on
You
VHS,
might as well go
plus
buy the
the
DVD of
copies
the
I
X-Files.
taped, huh?
Do you have the DVD of the X-Files series?
I do have the DVD. I don't have the DVD of the reboots, so I gotta get those DVDs
Yeah.
just so I can
Yeah.
have a complete collection,
Yeah. All right,
so
so we're at our hour time.
Oh, we are. Oh,
We are
wow.
at our
The
hour
hour is
time.
gone.
We want to
Wow,
thank
like
everybody.
magic.
Yeah, we want to thank everybody for coming and hanging out with us.
Thanks for hanging
Next
out.
week,
Next week? Where are we next week?
uh,
I said, where are we next week? We've
next
been
week.
to the MCU, we've been to the DCU.
Well, let's get off. Let's get off of the U's here.
Okay, we'll leave the universe.
We'll leave the universe, and we're going to talk about what we're going to do. We're going to do a thumbnail by Tuesday or Wednesday on what we're
A
going to talk
thumbnail
about.
by Tuesday or Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah, I'm on the spot right now. I can't.
You can't. I say do an Oscar recap. We
Okay,
can even
let's do an
bring
Oscar recap.
images in and, our favorite moments and Oscar
Okay.
recap.
I gotta watch the Oscars. I don't
And
usually watch award shows, but I gotta watch the Oscars now.
well, that's tomorrow night, so I don't
Yeah,
know how good it's gonna be. And
it's
I
gonna
I
be
know I
streamed
used to be an
somewhere.
award show junkie, but now I guess I've outgrown it. I don't know.
Yeah,
And
it's gonna be.
now I
It's
think too, because you can usually watch the replays, so
yeah, it's gonna be streamed somewhere, either on Hulu or Peacock or something. So it's gonna be
yeah,
streamed.
so you can kinda
So
catch it in the
on
stream.
Paramount Plus or something like that. So it's gonna be streamed.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's do an Oscar recap next week.
because I'm so bad. I don't even watch, even though I have DirecTV, I don't watch that anymore. A lot of things I watch are either streamed or,
Yeah,
YouTube,
that's what it is.
Hulu,
A lot of it's streamed.
HBO Max, Disney Plus. If it's not on one of those, I'm like, why bother? If I do wind up getting this new home, I'm probably not even gonna get you know, DirecTV or cable or anything. I'm just gonna
Yeah, you stream it. You stream everything.
stream it.
Stream
Although I
everything.
will need internet service, so
Yeah, you want the internet, but stream it.
gotta have the internet.
Yeah.
The interwebs, can't escape them.
Nope, you can't do anything without 'em.
But we are glad to have the interwebs and glad that you are able to join us, whether you're joining us over on YouTube, and look for, like we said, we're going to have some changes in April, and those changes might mean watching us on a different platform, meaning that the YouTube channel, Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture, will be its own YouTube channel. I think I can announce that because that channel is out there. We haven't been streaming to it, but come April, we will be going live from Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture, and we'll put a link to find that in our descriptions for all our other videos so that you can go directly on that channel, find us, find our pop culture shorts and any other thing that we post about. It'll be on there, and we will be working on some short form videos as opposed to in addition to our weekly lives.
Yes. So thank you for joining us. See you next week as we do a Oscar recap a week later, and it should be fun because we're going to watch the Oscars. Hopefully somebody slaps somebody.
No, we're just gonna be waiting for the slap. Although Jimmy Kimmel is as host should be fun, and I think he'll keep it moving and keep it relevant. And we're just gonna be waiting for the slap. So
yeah, waiting for the slap. It's not
so for the
anymore.
Slapback recap, join us next Saturday. Thank you so much, Steve, for coming and hanging out as we talk DC verse. We will see all of you pop culture kids next Saturday night. Same Cat and Kenny channel, same Cat and Kenny station. Peace.
God bless your soul and keep living. Peace.
Thank you for geeking out with Kathy and Kenny on Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture.